Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for the previews to start in a movie theater.
Hey, you want anything? Popcorn? Soda? No, nothing?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
This is Rocky Romero of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and you are listening to the Super J Cast. Woo! Asuka.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel Abraham, joined by Damon McDonald. Damon, the bar is open. The penalty spot, open for business.
Yeah, the penalty box, Joel. Box. It is open. And, we had a great... here's what we did. We were keeping it very tight. We're keeping it very tight, the guest list, because of our COVID-19 fears, even though people are starting to get vaccinated in this country at a decent clip, which is very good news. But yes, it is open. It is wonderful. I just sit there and stand in it and stare and think, I can't believe this was my old garage. It looks cool. It looks great. And I couldn't be happier with it. And now I just have a constant flow of alcohol at this point. It's not good. When I'm bored, I go drink. And a couple beers a day keeps the doctor away. That's what they say, right? No?
I think it's a couple of bags of crisps a day keeps the doctor away.
Well.
Have you got crisps? Have you got any kind of bagged snacks?
Yes. Absolutely, yeah. I have walkers. So there's a British food place, I guess, or distributor, or I don't know. But they'll have football novelties and of course Guinness like paraphernalia, and they also import in different foods. Like what are those fucking cookies that I like? Not the strawberry jam filled ones. Oh, what are they called?
Are they rings?
Yeah.
Is it a ring?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
With strawberry jam and
yes.
Is there cream inside it as well?
I don't know if there's cream, but there's definitely strawberry jam.
Jammy Dodgers.
Jammy Dodgers. That's what I don't want to say. Jolly Dodgers, and I knew that wasn't right. Yes, they have those, and just stuff like that. And they have Walker's chips. And they have like little snack packs of them, but they're expensive, obviously. But yeah, I have that, and then I have some local ones, local plain old ones. But yeah, I have snacks. My friend stocked because my one friend Steve did all the work, like all the work. The bar is made out of concrete, like the bar top, and then we poured an epoxy over top of it, so it gives it that bar top finish, so kind of like smooths it out and everything. But the actual bar itself is fucking concrete, which is awesome. And we were mixing that and pouring that, dude. I did one bucket of mixing, and I was like, Steve, I'm out. You got to do this whole thing because I can't do it. I was exhausted. I was tough. I could feel my shoulders popping out of their sockets. But he did everything. So he was there, and his wife, Winnie, who I work with, and my best friend Tom. My best friend Tom didn't do anything, but he said, look, because you're writing the checks, dude, and he's doing the work, I'll throw in money for alcohol and stock you up. And I was like, all right, whatever. That's cool. So we had people over on the Super Bowl Sunday. And he came and he had a bottle of everything and really good shit, like bottle of rum, bottle of gin, bottle of vodka, bottle of fucking 2 bottles of Irish whiskeys, different varieties. It was tequila. I was like, fuck. So my bar is stocked. I have a fucking a tap system in the bar. I have cans in a refrigerator of different micro brews from the local area. Fucking, it's heaven. I got the fucking retro pie hooked up the other day. That's rocking in there, so we can play some NHL 94, some Streets of Rage. Then I got 5 terabytes of pro wrestling that I can access at any time in there, plus multiple TVs for live sports. It's heaven. It's fucking heaven, Joel. And I cannot wait for you to get there. Cannot wait. Can we just talk about my bar for 2 hours? It's 1,000 times more interesting than these shows, but don't you think?
Have you seen the news that came out of Pro Wrestling Noah today? In their big show.
I just woke up, so no, I did not. What's the news?
There is a new GHC champion.
Wow. Okay. All right. Who's that? Is it somebody is a surprise person?
No, I mean the match has been booked for a while.
Oh, okay.
Someone who has quite a long and distinguished history with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Quite a while ago, though. One of the 3 Musketeers.
Really? Muta?
Keiji Muto. Just beat Go Shiozaki, and he is now.
Oh my god!
58 years old. He's the third man in history to win the New Japan's IWGP Heavyweight Championship, All Japan's Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship, and those GHC Heavyweight Championship. The other 2. Do you know who the other 2 were? Or should I just tell you?
Just tell me. I'm too tired.
Kensuke Sasaki and Yoshihiro Takayama.
Yeah. Look, he is an absolute legend, but the last time I saw him was probably, the last time I was in Japan. And I think he was on like a Wrestle 1 show or something like that. Guy could barely fucking walk. And I know he had like hips and knees replaced and wow. That's I mean, I can't say I'm a hardcore follower of Noah. But that screen, like, either that's got to be a real transitional champion, like just a real, give him the title and he's getting it right off. Or that is a real weird move, don't you think?
There's going to be a lot of weird wrestling moves that we're discussing today, so I'm not throwing any rocks, Damon.
No, I mean, listen. Look. I didn't see the match. I don't know the build. I don't. So I'm going into that news blind. But here's a take from a person that's just blind to the situation. That seems like a real weird fucking move for a guy near 60 to win your championship. What are you doing with that? Like, what is that? Where does that go? I mean, you're not building around him, right? The guy. Wow. I don't. That's a weird move to me. That's a real strange fucking move. He should not be winning your world title. I'm going to flat out say it. That's a guy that should not be winning your world title right now. They have a lot of talent there too. I wonder what's the. Do you know what the temperature is in Noah land? What's the feedback that you've seen in the former Emerald Green land?
I think a lot of people expected this to happen,
right?
Given that Muto's potentially a big draw and will sell a lot of tickets, do some numbers. Maybe
really?
The response has been congratulations to Go Shiozaki for having a really terrific reign as the champion.
Right. Again, that's just a weird fucking. And here's the thing: you could see Muta any fucking weekend, any independent show. It felt like at any time. I got a picture of me sitting at Corkin Hall, and I'm telling you, there were probably 200 people in this building on a fucking, whatever, a Friday afternoon. And it's me, and Muda's walking by, and he's hobbling. And he's not wrestling on this show. He's just making an appearance. But I think the last time I went, I saw him on 3 different shows. So it's not like he's this guy that's, rare and you're not going to, he's going to draw this big house when he shows up. He's there every fucking weekend. You could pay less than $20 to see him. Whatever. It just seems like a weird move to me. Okay. We have our own promotion to talk about. We have our own promotion to fucking yell and scream.
Pro wrestling, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has.
So, speaking of weird weeks in pro wrestling, I'm going to jump straight into a question from Sean. He says, I'm unsure how to put my thoughts into it. I'm going to excuse the noise, by the way. I'm in my mother-in-law's house, and there's people and uncles and cousins and nieces and nephews running around screaming, so...
Sounds like we're going to get some guests. Sounds like we're going to. I say you bring them on, get their hot takes on this Noah situation.
They don't speak English, but we can.
We'll work around that.
Make any less sense than usual, would it?
Right.
Okay, so Sean says, I'm unsure of how to put my thoughts into words, but if the first hint of the AEW New Japan working relationship will resemble anything like that no DQ match KENTA participated in, can we go back in time, weld that forbidden door shut, and push it into the abyss? I watched the Dynamite tag match, which is on New Japan World now, if anyone else wants to check it out. You haven't seen it yet, Damon. It's not for me. It's not to my tastes. But, I mean, just putting that match to one side, let's look at the bigger picture here. Damon, your thoughts, please, on this whole KENTA Mox situation. And do you think that the Forbidden Door, a term which has now been trademarked by All Elite Wrestling, do you think the Forbidden Door is now smashed open?
Well, we did a show, and I think it was minutes after we got, the AEW show where KENTA hits the ring, and away we went, and the floodgates opened. I don't want to say forbidden door. I don't want to get sued. And I will say that the first angle with Mox showing up was, we knew, but still it was nice to see and a good surprise. The second angle we had speculated that it was going to be occurring, and absolutely we were spot on. And now it seems like everyone expects this idea of, Okada showing up, and vice versa. Kenny Omega showing up, and the dream cards and the fantasy booking and all of that. And Dave helping to fan the flames of there's a definite opening, but yet if you read what he had said, yes, there is an opening and it begins and ends so far with what we've seen here. Could there be more? Sure, we've said it for months. We believe that there will be, especially with when we have talking and conversation and thawing of ice that has formed throughout the months. Sure, but to sit here and to say that this idea of AEW is New Japan USA and New Japan is AEW Japan is not. We're not there yet, and there's going to be a ton of disappointed people when that doesn't happen as quickly as people think it is happening. There's nothing official. There's nothing that's there on, other than this particular scenario, this particular KENTA Mox thing. And it was more, from my understanding, dare I say, a tit for tat. Okay, Mox, I want to work this fucking show, get this title off my back, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's no crowd, there's really no financial benefit to New Japan. You're not working a technical show in the United States. Go fucking do it. Can we get Kenta to come on our show? Yes. Okay. If that's the door being opened, then that's the door being opened. But I don't see a flood of people pouring through that door. Let's put it that way. Now, there are other things that are out there. Here's how I'll wrap this all up in a nice little fucking bow. I think we're in a state where people are looking for opportunities to make up for lost income. And people are willing to put aside certain things to make that happen. Those traditional lines in the sand might not be as defined as they once were, because people are looking to make up profits, lost money, and at the end of the day, that's what rules pro wrestling. Please make no mistake about it. That is what drives this business, is making money. I'm sure that you'll see more from AEW, and you'll see more of this partnership, but it's not going to be a instant thing. That's for sure. You might even see New Japan pro wrestlers that you know, and you might love and you might not love, in different promotions outside of AEW. How about that, Joel? You might even see that. You might even see New Japan pro wrestlers in North American promotions that aren't AEW. Why? Well, because of where we are. I mean, look at the landscape of the U.S. pro wrestling world right now, and look at all the weird things that have happened just in the past 4 months. Pretty crazy. Again, those petty things that have kept people apart usually subside when they look at their balance sheet and they say, "Oh fuck, what do we do?" And the guy next to you is doing the same thing, and now you're looking at each other like, "Okay, how can we make some money here?" And I think that's what's
heavyweight title on Keiji Muto.
Well, right, that's one thing. Man, that one blew me away, actually, Joel. I know I opened that, and again, I feel like I'm not really the best person to be talking about it, but my God, it's like I just can't get over the fact. Like, you would see him every fucking show, in the show, you seemed like he was showing up. So I don't know. I don't know what the thought process is there. What are your thoughts on this door opening, Joel?
It's pretty exhausting, I'm not going to lie. I mean, you asked me last week what are the chances of a full working relationship between the two companies this year, bearing in mind, like you said last week, we knew Kenta versus Mox was in the can. We discussed there was a good chance of Kenta appearing on Dynamite, and I gave you 3% because of COVID, travel restrictions, attendance restrictions, etc. Yeah, and then Big Dave comes out and says there's a working relationship, and I was like, shit, they've signed a deal or something. Maybe some talent exchange, maybe a co-promoted show, something we didn't know about. So I read what he wrote, I listened to what he said, and drum roll please, it was that Kenta and Mox are wrestling on Strong and that Kenta's on Dynamite, which we already knew. So there's no new information there, right? He got nothing, okay? To me, this is not a full working relationship until we get some consistent international talent exchange, co-promoted super show, things like that. We're a long way away from that. So I'm sticking to my 3%. New Japan have agreed to negotiate with AEW because they didn't want to strip Moxie of the US title. They wanted to continue to work with Moxie. Moxie's great for New Japan US viewership, YouTube numbers, things like that. Logic's there. You can see both sides milking this for all it's worth, and we'll see how it goes. If New Japan start to see a big boost in their world subscribers and strong viewers are up and merch sales go up, then yeah, they can dip their toes in a bit more. Honestly, I think some of the best analysis for this was from the Tamatonga, the Tama's Island podcast, which might surprise you for a man who spent the last week or so speaking in Japanese to Iron Fingers and a rubber chicken. But I really think he nailed it, though. So I would recommend listeners go and check out that as well.
Give us the feeling from that podcast. I mean,
what we've said. It's a start. You know, the doors open a little bit. You're peeking through the door and so, who's there? What do you want? You know, and then you're taking it from there. This is maybe we're just arguing semantics. I don't see this as a full working relationship. It might get there in time, but we're a long way away from that. You know, we'll see if in the coming months others follow the same path, or like you suggested, maybe slightly different path. Like lots of US-based New Japan guys not doing a whole lot right now. Just trying to think who hasn't been on New Japan. Finjuice popped to mind.
Right.
I haven't seen them on any Japanese shows for a while, so they're probably back in the States, spinning their wheels. You know, they might.
They want to make it. Well, listen, they want to make an impact somewhere, right? They're
right.
You know, they're just trying.
There's a lot of other backs that need scratching. You know, we saw during the Super J Cup a whole host of promotions being represented there, and other forbidden doors that we thought were closed being open. We saw Chris Bay appearing in the Super J Cup. So Chris Bay in the Super J Cup makes you, well, you know, that's one company giving a little back scratch to New Japan. Is that back scratch going to get reciprocated? We'll wait and see, Dave.
Right.
Who knows?
Who
So,
knows?
I mean, I know a lot of New Japan fans are apprehensive about talent exchange. It's like a hypothetical scenario here. Let's say, I don't know, Marco Stunt being in Best of the Super Juniors and taking a spot away from Master Wato.
I'm in.
I'll fucking drive Marco to Tokyo myself, Damon.
Sign me up for that, please.
No, I'm joking. My point is, I think we're a long way away from that, so hold your horses on the fancy booking for now.
I will say this, and again, sometimes it gets a little bit overdone. Do you think that stuff like this, though, gets people fired up?
Yeah, it got me. I was excited seeing you know the timeline popping off, seeing Kenta appearing on Dynamite. It's hard not to get excited about that because since 2001, I've been wanting to see a well-executed wrestling invasion angle because I certainly didn't get it then. So I think you'd have to be, you know, digging your heels in pretty hard to have seen all the buzz that came from Kenta appearing on Dynamite and think, this is rubbish, I hate it. I can understand being nervous about it, but I thought it was genuinely exciting, and I understand why the people are excited. We don't know where it's going to lead, but I think given that 2020 was such a difficult year for pro wrestling for various reasons, this can only be a good thing, right?
Right. And here's the thing, as you know, as much as they try and as much as dickheads like us kind of give you spoil it for everybody, it was exciting, and it was, you know, you saw people's timelines blowing up, and you know, Kenta showing up on AEW was really fucking cool, and even the post stuff, you know, where he tells Kenny to go fuck off, you know, I thought all of it was good. Like, to me, that was, you know, that was exciting pro wrestling. And I'm not going to lie, I got juiced up over it. I thought it was fun. And by the looks of the buzz and the interest that it generated, it was an excellent, excellent, excellent idea. Again, not to beat the dead horse, but I don't know if this necessarily means full-blown partnership, full-blown door opening, but it is a start, and you got to start somewhere, and they started safely. If you notice, all the components that were involved there started safely. Now, Kenny kind of dipping his toes in this is okay, a little bit, all right, okay, all right. But again, even New Japan social media, retweeting stuff, you know, there's little things out there that are like, that give a sense of positivity toward this happening. I just think people are ahead of the game a little bit. They're going to get disappointed by this. And then it's, somebody's a shitbag for not making it happen. Give it time. We're pointing in the right direction. And eventually I think it will happen. But it's not here yet.
George says AEW has gotten consistent praise for all the partnerships they formed during the pandemic, while New Japan has worked with ROH, Impact, GCW, MLW throughout with Neri mentioned. Does AEW get more praise due to a Western bias? And yeah, I think that is something that's overlooked, the way that New Japan has been sowing seeds and building bridges with a whole host of promotions, not just AEW.
Yeah, and again, we talked about that a few times. And they always have had that element of their, business dealing. There's constantly guys being brought in, and that's throughout the years. And I think AEW is just, let's be truthful here. It's probably the hottest pro wrestling company in the country, if not the world. And I say that because they have a major cable television show. And the only one that would be comparable would be WWE's show. So, yeah, I mean, more eyeballs are going to be on it. More focus is on it. It's easier for people to consume because, again, all they need to do is pop on their television and it's right in front of them. If they know how to use a channel guide, they can find it. And away we go. And there are names that people recognize. And the people that they don't recognize, I think they do a decent job of getting those people over. There's voices that they recognize. There's a lot of things that work for AEW. I'm going to tell you right now, I like AEW. I like AEW. For giving me the option of what's on Monday night, which truth be told, I haven't watched in years. I'll take it every day of the fucking week. So yes, more people are going to see what AEW does than what New Japan does with MLW. I mean, that's just a fact. Just because of the position that they're in.
The other piece of news that came out this week was something we've been hinting at for a while, Damon. New Japan has now partnered with a Roku channel in the US, Canada and the UK for a weekly 1-hour program, Thursdays at 5 p.m. So it's basically the old Axis show, World of Pro Wrestling. And it just seems like a bit of a sideways move. It's not going to hurt, but is it going to necessarily bring new viewers to the table? I'm not sure about that. I doubt it.
I don't even know where it is. I couldn't.
Right.
I couldn't tell you if I have it. I couldn't tell you if I've ever watched anything on it. And I know that there is confusion. And it might be just dopes my age, to be honest with you. We don't know what the fuck it is. Like, do you need a Roku to access this channel, Joel?
No, I don't think so. I think some cable, satellite TV, whatever providers host it as a channel without needing the app.
Okay, so
certainly it's do you feel that they built up this announcement? Because there were people sort of speculating that this was going to be a big TV deal, and then it turned out to be a relatively bit of a damp squib.
Well, I mean, if we're fair to them, they never really said it was a TV deal, did they? They said something along the lines of coming to your TV.
Will be, yeah. But, I mean, we're splitting hairs there. I think It wasn't an unreasonable assumption to see that and think, TV deal, was it?
Well, that's what people want, right? At the end of the day, that's what people want. And, again, there is speculation that they have talked to networks in the United States. But here's the problem. Networks in the United States, they are in major flux. Like an option that New Japan may have had in the past might have been a network called NBC Sports. That carries. They actually have the broadcast rights for the Premier League in the United States. So you would watch, your Premier League games on this network. They also have a partnership with the NHL. They're going goodbye at the end of the year. They are folding into that streaming network Peacock that NBC owns. So that option is going goodbye. ESPN, I'm going to tell you flat out, ESPN is not picking up New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm going to give you the old 3%, right? ESPN is not picking up New Japan Pro Wrestling. Would Fox Sports? I don't think so. If they have a relationship with WWE, I can't see that happening anytime soon. So now you're left with these fucking dollar store cable networks that people don't even know they have. And I guess it's something, but, I think people want this network, this show to be on a real cable network. I don't know where that's going to occur, because the deal that's going to be made is not this cable network signing a check to New Japan Pro Wrestling for their content. It'd be the other way. It'd be New Japan paying for a spot and some kind of deal where it breaks even. I don't know, but it's not like there's cable networks salivating and knocking on New Japan's door for a cable deal. And I say that a major cable network that's doing that. That's for sure. So if we expect a TV deal to happen where, $1 million deal, that's not happening. That is not happening, to be very clear. It's going to be, if anything, a break even. And I don't even think it's going to be a break even, to be honest with you.
All right, well, let's get on to talking about the new beginning in Hiroshima then. We won't do every single match, so we'll just touch on the key matches there.
All right.
But without going into any match specifics, Damon, overall, it was a bit of a, we were not particularly excited going into it, and that's how it played out, isn't it?
Look, I as strange as this sounds, I went into this recording today. And even in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I try and find a silver lining. Maybe I try and find, I'm thinking, okay, how do I word the fact that it was just there? And I found myself trying to make excuses for it being just there when it wasn't just there. I don't think it was good, right? There's a big difference between, it was there. I don't think this was good. I turned off two shows. Well, I turned off one show and was like, okay, that was that. And I didn't like it. And then going into a second show where I'm like, okay, I felt like I had to get through it. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I was watching a movie that ended on a note where, okay, I'm not really that interested in watching the second half of this fucking movie, part 2. And boy, it lived up to it. I know people are going to tell me that, okay, these are new beginning shows and these aren't major shows. And I'm going to say fucking bullshit. Their job, they're not going into this saying, let's put on fucking dog shit show. They're not. But boy, it did feel like they were, with not only the lead into these shows, but then the actual show and then the ramifications of the show. I was just left scratching my head, man, and thinking, here's the problem that I have with New Japan, Joel. Consistency. You come off of a show, and it wasn't the best show in the world, but it was a decent show with Ospreay, Kojima, and even to a certain degree, Okan and Tenzan. Maybe not from a working perspective, but at least there was build and interest, and people got into it. Tanahashi, Shingo. You come off of that, and then you get dropped into like 2 shows of just stuck in the mud. I feel like I'm the stick in the mud, but I don't know anyone. And again, I'm not as active as you. I don't give a fuck what people think, so I usually don't look. But I ask you. There's no buzz for this, right? Nobody's coming out of this like,
No.
You know what I mean? I don't think these shows were good. I don't even think these shows were, they're okay. I don't think as a package, as a whole, these shows were good. Period.
Let's get into the specifics then. Let's start with the main event of night 2, which was the IWGP and IWGP Intercontinental Double Championship match with Kota Ibushi making his second successful defense against Sanada. 27 minutes, 51 seconds with Kamigoye. I was dreading this game because I was scared it was going to go an hour, and it didn't go an hour. It went 27 minutes, and I liked it. I thought it was decent. It's not going to be touching any match of the year lists, but I was engaged. I was entertained throughout. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. A couple of messy spots with TKOs, but I was pleasantly surprised. I thought this was a good match. I'm not sure how I would compare it to the G1 final. Maybe a little bit better than that. I thought sort of bell to bell. The G1 final match had quite a few moments in the first half where I was losing interest, but this one kept my interest throughout. So yeah, it was fine, but I think the bar should be higher than that for IWGP heavyweight title matches.
Right.
You know, we're used to the best. You know, this is supposed to be the best wrestling on the planet, and 2 guys going out there and having a good match, that shouldn't really be enough, should it? I shouldn't be satisfied with that.
Correct.
And Zack Sabre Jr. on commentary, I got excited about that, and I shouldn't have been because he was a bit crap, wasn't he? He was almost inaudible for most of it. Kevin Kelly was trying his best there and setting him up for talking points, and he was sort of batting them away with one-liners that weren't really that funny, and it just didn't really add a lot to the match. But yeah, overall, it was okay. A big old bowl of okay.
Right. But that's you. But you said exactly what I think a lot of people felt was, okay, this is the main event of the show that has on a show to me that needed that main event. Like, we've had shows that have been okay, and then you get to that main event and it saves the show. And that was the fear going in, was, okay, traditionally, these are shows that, okay, you're not going to get your meat and fucking potatoes till the main event, and the main event saves it. Are these 2 guys the guys that are going to deliver? Listen, Kota Ibushi, I think, is fantastic. I really do. He's had more great matches than even good matches, to be honest. Sanada, and we all know what I think of him, so why rehash that? For new listeners, I don't particularly care for him. This was exactly what we thought it was going to be. It's exactly what we thought it was going to be. We saw an okay IWGP heavyweight title match that needed to be really, really good to save a show. Let's be truthful. And they didn't deliver. They did not. Not only did they not deliver, I don't think they came close to delivering. They gave an okay match. Okay. And Zach, I think Zach helped magnify the okayness. Like his drab commentary helped enhance the fact that this was exactly what it was. Drab. This was a beige suit. This is exactly what this was.
looking at implications coming out of the match, Bash says, is Sanada the new Goto? And yeah, I can't see him winning the top title. Like I said, we understand why he's popular with the domestic audience. He's good looking. He is charismatic to the domestic audience. I can't for the life of me think why. It's not something that resonates with me personally. So I just think he is now a guy who you trot out, once a year or whatever to challenge in these big matches and, look sexy.
Why?
And give you a 3 3/4 star match.
Put him in a fucking tag and have him make a calendar every year with his shirt off or wearing, his highly tailored suits, and let it be that. Just keep him away from any significant pro wrestling matches. That would be my dream. Let him wear his mask. Let him brood. Let him wear his summer suit with his little hat, right? His little summertime hat and his shoeless or his sockless shoes, slip-ons. Fucking hate him.
Yeah, certainly not for me either. But the only thing more tiresome than his matches are the discourse surrounding him as a wrestler. So let's move on then and talk about the main event of night one, which was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match with Hiromu Takahashi completing his first successful defense against Sho in 35 minutes 38 seconds with a time bomb too. I was bored by this, Damon.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with it per se. The work was good. Lots of shouting and forearms and big dangerous spots and power moves and stuff. But for some reason, I just could not get into this at all. I thought it was too long. There didn't really feel like there was much of a story or connective tissue to it. I didn't think at any point Sho was going to win, and it didn't have that pace and excitement that I associate with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. It felt like a heavyweight match, and yeah, I felt nothing watching this. I know this is harsh because a lot of people really like this, but it just didn't do it for me at all.
It was okay. It was no. You know what's weird? The thought I had while watching this match was this felt like heavyweights trying to be juniors, right? And I just.
Do you mean heavyweights trying to be juniors or juniors trying to be heavyweights?
No, it felt like heavyweights trying to be juniors in the sense of they're struggling to make what junior matches what makes junior matches shine, right? It wasn't like we saw like a 1,000 dives or stuff like that, but it was the struggle. Like, it feels like these two guys want to be heavyweights so bad that they were heavyweights kind of locked in a junior's body the way this match felt like. Does that make any sense? No? Okay.
Yeah, no, it does. I was coming at the other angle that it was like two juniors trying to work a heavyweight style match. But yeah, I mean, basically, I think the analogy holds true that it was two guys working a style of match that didn't suit them. Yeah.
No. Does this Hiromu has a really strong track record, right? I mean, there's no one sitting here questioning Hiromu and what he is to the company. Do you have some reservations on Sho? I like Sho a lot. I think Sho is fucking unbelievably talented. I think he's a really great pro wrestler. What's missing? What? Because this is not the first time he's been in a big spotlight where it's kind of felt a little bit underwhelming.
Good question. I'm just thinking back to Sho singles matches that I enjoyed, and I think my favourite one was the Shingo New Japan Cup one last year, the empty arena one.
Right.
Because that was just balls to the wall. There was no downtime. They weren't trying to do sort of main event style. You know, sometimes that Shingo style match I can find a bit copy paste and a bit tiresome, but it worked there. I think Show is better in shorter, more intense, higher paced
sprint
matches.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. He loses me. He loses me in those longer matches. Like, he doesn't have the like. I don't think Show is calling a match, you know, in this situation. I would be shocked if that were the case, but I don't think that's the case. But the longer it goes, he doesn't have. And again, I'm the comparison I'm making. Please, I mean, I'm giving you the best person in the world to help amplify the example. But if you take a look at like Hiroshi Tanahashi and the way that he has the ability to build and take people on rides with the match structure and how it's laid out and when things occur, that I don't think Show has any real strong concept of at this point in his career. And again, I'm comparing maybe the guy who's the best ever at that to Show, but again, to amplify and that he's missing that component for me. Like, the longer it goes, he loses me, and the sprints he's able to capture my attention and keep it. I don't know. And you would think that would be the type of match you would have with Hiromu. I guess they had to kill time, right? They gave him a spot that they had to shave a lot of time off, maybe. And I don't know if Show's the right guy for that.
Andrew asks if the IC title is split and Hitomi. He's put Hitomi here. I guess he means Hiromu, unless he's talking about the adult video star Hitomi Tanaka, who I think would be a fantastic main eventer. But let's assume he means Hiromu. If Hiromu wants to main event the Dome, do you think a good start to getting there would be a junior title semi-main event at Dominion? We come back to the same problem, isn't it? Like, who is the opponent that's going to be a big enough draw for that spot?
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of what I hinted at with last week. I mean, right now you wouldn't headline Hiromu at the Dome, would you? Because you need some.
No,
you need.
No.
Yeah. I mean,
like the two biggest candidates are Ryu Lee, if you can get him back, or you build up El Desperado. Those are the two top names for me.
I mean, but that's you. They would have, and again, it's pro wrestling. I mean, that's their job to do these things. But they need to do something for both of those people to fire up. You know what I mean? To get that interest going, because just out of the gate and on paper, while again you have the possibility of great matches, I just don't know if that's like your Dome main event. That's asking a lot.
No, neither of those could be Dome main event. I'm talking about a Dominion semi-main event. Like, let's say, you think, okay, we're penciling in for a Dominion semi-main event. Desperado's our guy. Start building him up. Have him win Best of the Super Juniors. I definitely think that is a serviceable Dominion semi-main. But
yes.
Dome main event, I don't know who the guy is.
It's nobody right now. It's nobody. You can't headline anybody with Hiromu. Here's who you can headline against Hiromu. A guy who is not a junior. That's what you do. That's how Hiromu headlines right now the Dome. But yes, a Dominion show, absolutely. You could headline, if you do it right. Now, after that headlining Dominion show, could you run a very hot angle or, and get people even more amped up for a match? Whatever that looks like, I don't know how you get from point A to point B, but you would need Dominion to be a launching point if you were going to put Hiromu as a main event on a Dome show. Something, again, to put into perspective, something Liger as a defending the title, never done. Tiger Mask, never done. There's a lot of big names that have never done that, and that's not to say that Hiromu can't. Just putting it in historical context. Big name, that never happened.
Let's talk about the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match with Guerrillas of Destiny with their first successful defense against Dangerous Tekkers. 29 minutes and 8 seconds. God won via disqualification after Taichi attacked with the Iron Fingers. You go first, Damon.
Come on, man. Like, what? And here's what's the most frustrating part of this. And correct me if I'm wrong. There's really no hint of this program going anywhere else, right? There's no hint of rematch. I mean, maybe down the road, but it feels like we're putting this completely on pause, right? After this match. So we got a DQ finish with no payoff that made no sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, come on. I know it's pro wrestling, but the guy is so distracted by these fucking iron fingers that he loses focus after 20 minutes. Over 20 minutes? It's like honestly, did you when that match is over, did you even question your fandom of Dangerous Tekkers just because they were perceived as absolute boobs? Did you just like, what are they? What? Look, back in the glory days of Japanese pro wrestling, you would have big matches, big stars being uber protected, and you would see 20-minute matches, and then they tumble out of the ring, and they brawl in the crowd, and ringing of the bell, and everyone tries to break them up. And you would see this constantly. Then things changed. Clean finishes. And they got away from that nonsense. The idea of we had to super protect everybody. We did this finish not to protect anybody, not to do anything other than get over a fucking iron finger. Nobody got over in this match except a fucking iron finger. What is happening? What the fuck is happening here?
I'm genuinely not trying to be contrarian here. I liked it. I'll explain the reason why I liked it. Because as a crazy person, I've been watching all the Road 2 shows and all the backstage promos, and following all of that stuff, you can track Taichi's descent into, for want of a better word, madness. He's just been so distraught by losing these iron fingers and the symbolism that they have to him for whatever reason, whether that is his comradeship with his retired buddy Izuka, who left the iron fingers to him, or if he thinks that's a sign of disrespect that Tamatonga took them, and all the mind games that led into it, and him just basically losing his mind in the backstage stuff going into this match. I don't think the match would have made sense in the context of everything I've just mentioned for Taichi to not get the iron fingers back, and B, to just get them back and think, oh yeah, I've got them back now, I'm going to put them away safely and win the match with a clean finishing move and pin them 1, 2, 3. Right, that wouldn't have made sense for the story that they told. And
why didn't they flip it?
I'm not going to tell anyone that they are wrong for hating it, because to go half an hour and end in a DQ is a bold move, to put it mildly, and I understand why a lot of people are upset with that. And if you haven't watched all that backstage stuff and all the Road 2 shows, then yeah, it won't make sense, and it's going to leave you feeling dissatisfied. I thought the match itself was really good. I thought Tangaloa in particular was excellent. Like some of the strike exchanges he was going at with Taichi, his forearms looked really devastating, and him sort of playing off the finesse and the technique of Zack was a really nice stylistic match there. And it took me a while after watching this with conflicting thoughts, thinking, well, on the one hand, you don't do half an hour of wrestling and then end in a DQ. But then also me thinking, but actually that worked with the story that they were telling. So I was conflicted on this, but I'm on the side of I liked it. Sorry.
Okay. No need to apologize. So the idea that they were painted into a corner and they had to do a DQ finish because, he's going to get these fucking things back and then, all hell's going to break loose. Okay. You mean to tell me we couldn't have I don't know, we could even do a fuck finish where somebody gets screwed over, somebody gets pinned, and Dangerous Techers couldn't just, get pissed off and then beat the shit out of, get some revenge, right? And get the Iron Fingers back. Right? We had to ruin a match in the process by getting the DQ, and then B, continue on with the nonsense with the Iron Fingers. Like, okay, getting the Iron Fingers back, great. I cannot believe we're sitting here talking about getting the Iron Fingers back.
The demonic possession. He's possessed, Damon. The spirit of Izuka or whatever evil forces are in the Iron Fingers.
Does anyone want that in their New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Okay, what if I come at it with this analogy? At the end of The Empire Strikes Back, the Star Wars movie, and Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader going at it. Spoiler alert, Darth Vader cuts off Luke's hands. And, the bad guy wins at the end of the day in that movie. And everyone's like, were people... I don't know, because I don't know what year that was, but I don't think I was born yet. But
I saw it in the theaters, all right? Is that what you're trying to insinuate? I'm old? Fuck you, all right?
Okay, Uncle Damon. Is that a fair analogy? This is not the end of the story, that it's okay to have an unsatisfying end to this chapter?
But it is. But it is. This is you this what do they have the Iron Fingers back in their possession?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you want to grab a snack, grab a Farm Rich snack. Something about that song just makes me hungry. Well, any requests? Oh, how about some mozzarella sticks instead? Folks, it's time for me to grab a snack. Feel free to do the same. You can find Farm Rich in the freezer aisle or online. This next one goes out to all the cheese lovers out there.
Bodega, 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 alpha and omega. Siamese sailors sell celery sandwiches. Sawing-a-bada, serving platter.
Hey, Jamie?
Yes?
Did you want to try reading that line on the script there?
Oh, yeah, let's see. You could say big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, that one?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm just not warmed up yet. Shouldn't be long. Detector test.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive today.
The marmot mangled my mushu pork pancake.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Is there a rematch in this? Do you think that there is a? Not that we know, or we have the booking sheets in front of you, but do you expect there to be a rematch during the New Japan Cup?
Possibly. We do have a question. It tells the dude, says, do you see Taichi regaining the Iron Fingers as the end of the feud with him and Tama, or do you see it continuing with both men slipping more into insanity as their desire to possess the fingers escalates? I think this is Dangerous Techers on ice for now. That's what Zach said. He said he's concentrating on the New Japan Cup now. Could I see those guys facing off in the early rounds of the New Japan Cup? Sure. I would say that is probable.
Right. Okay. I don't know, man. Yes. Could this continue on? Sure. Do we want this to continue on? Joe, do you want this to continue on?
What, this feud between Guerrillas of Destiny and Dangerous Techers?
Correct. Over the Iron Fingers.
I think they have a great match in them, or at least a very good match. I don't know if and when they would do it. I mean, we've got the cards for Castle Attack, so it's not going to be happening anytime soon. But I will look for the silver lining here and say, I think, from an in-ring perspective, since their return, Guerrillas of Destiny have stepped up their game hugely. Yeah. And I think they are a very fun tag team to watch, in my opinion. Right. And I think it's the right move for them to keep the titles. And I'm looking forward to seeing their upcoming matches.
I have no problem with them keeping the titles. Let me be clear. But I want the focus to be on the titles, not the Iron Fingers. Not once did we talk about the fucking titles. We talked about the Iron Fingers. Right?
Yes, and I see your point. You know, for all the great work that Dangerous Takers did elevating those titles, the fact that the titles felt like an afterthought in that match is a shame.
Yeah.
Even if it does make narrative sense.
Okay. But the narrative stinks, is what I'm saying. Thank you.
Well, I liked it, but we'll have to agree to differ there. Okay, well, let's stick with Guerrillas of Destiny then and talk about the semi-main event from Night 2, which was the Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Team Championship match, with the champions Yoshihashi, Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii successfully defending against Tangaloa, Tamatonga and Jay White. 27 minutes, with Yoshihashi pinning Tangaloa following the Kinkoji. I thought another very, very good Never Openweight 6-man title match. I like the way these are structured. I like the way that Yoshihashi is always the heart and soul of these matches, and I think he always delivers. I thought he was great here. I thought Guerrillas of Destiny were very, very good again. I don't really have that much to say. I thought this was very, very good. I thought probably the best match of the two shows.
Thank you. We're in real close agreement. It might not be the number one, but it's up there. And it's amazing how these fucking never 6-man title matches turn into, again, they're slotted to be just, on a show, it feels like. But they always seem to rope in guys who have their working shoes on and, want to have a good showing. I thought it was great. Which, again, I don't know why it would surprise me because they've delivered consistently. They've been highlights of shows consistently. I don't know why this is shocking me or anyone else at this point. Like, these matches are becoming the highlights of shows, people. Right? That's crazy talk. But here we are. And again, I don't think there's anything wild or crazy or it feels like to me that these matches are built on just solid pro wrestling foundations. It's not like they're young lions going in there, but we're not going off. I don't have to fucking stretch my brain to understand motives and just they're great pro wrestling matches that make sense because they're fighting over these titles and they give a fuck about these titles. It's always great. And they've been doing it consistently. And once again, maybe not on this show, Yoshihashi, man, he's become one of those glue guys. He's become one of those glue guys that you're almost, dare I say, counting on to help save shows. Yoshihashi is that guy. That's saying something, right? And you would expect, just because it's Yoshihashi, that you would have like some kind of drop off or some kind of like, you had your year and then okay, we don't. And maybe that's it. Maybe people just think, okay, you had your most improved year and way to go, and we're not going to build off that because it's Yoshihashi. No. I hope they keep those fucking titles forever. Forever. Because every time they come out, I'm into it. I'm into it. And here's the thing too, Joel. When it starts, it's almost just a physical reaction that I have no control over that occurs. And I see them and I think, that's my body's first reaction is, and then I have to realize that, whoa, Whoa. Hold on. These guys are good. I know you're conditioned to hand wave. Just stick around. This is good. And they always are.
Yeah, well-deserving winner of the Super J-Cast Most Improved Year-End Award. So there we go. Well, let's talk about all these shenanigans between Evil and Okada. They had a tag match which went 1 minute 27 seconds and ended in count-out, and then an impromptu Okada versus Evil singles match which went 5 minutes 41 seconds, ended in a disqualification.
Oh, God. Can I ask you a question, Joel? All these, like, we just started what's happened? Who's is there like an evil guy who's writing these storylines that's actually hovering above New Japan Pro Wrestling and giving storylines to Gedo, and Gedo is, I don't know, drunk and he just signs off on it? You know, is that what's happening? Is there some master puppeteer that's ruining our New Japan Pro Wrestling, Joel?
Yeah, it does seem to have taken quite a turn in over the last 12 months.
Doesn't it?
About this feud specifically, is just both guys feel like they're phoning it in to me.
I know people, and we're not going to get back on this. Trust me, Joe. I promise. People were shocked with Evil won this title, and at the very least, it did rattle people awake. That the title can change hands at any time. And I know people complained that, oh my God, it's Evil, but okay, I was under the impression that, okay, this is a made guy now. This is a guy that is serious, and I don't feel that way anymore. He has fallen like a fucking rock for me. He's quick.
It's not. Okada isn't exactly covering himself in glory here either. He looks like he's sleepwalking through the feud too. So I think we should blame both of them here.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Like, it's right. Like Okada feels like he is in big match mode. Like he'll turn it on, like domes and G1 finals. New beginning. I don't know if you're getting top flight Okada.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, this is fourth match on the card. So if this was happening in the main event, I would be pretty angry. But as it's not, I'm hand waving it. Let's move on and talk about Master Huato, who on night one lost a singles match against Bushi in 11 minutes 8 seconds with the MX, and then on the second night got the winning pinfall in a six-man tag match over Kanemaru with the ugliest looking La Carretera I've ever seen. So just taking this as a whole, I felt it just feels with Master Wato, it's like one step forward and then two steps back, because I thought the Bushi match was pretty good. I thought, this is decent. This is better than I thought it was going to be. No fuck ups, nice clean work. I thought Bushi looked good. Bit surprised by the result, which kind of signified that Wato was not in the upper echelons of the junior singles division at the time of speaking. But then that closing, the finish to the tag match against Kanemaru was just horrific, and there's no one else apart from him who is fucking up like that so consistently. It seems to be happening like every other match with him, and that's a big problem.
I'm gonna look. I think across the board, this guy is not ready for the big leagues. He's just not, from top to bottom. Like it's just, I know. What is most shocking to me about this, Joel, is the fact that when he went on excursion and when he was a young lion, I was so hot. I can only speak for me, but I was so high on him. I cannot believe where we are. Like
he got worse over Excursion, didn't he? He wasn't doing this. He wasn't fucking up like this when he was a young lion.
Not that I can recall. No, not that I can recall. I mean, for people who can, I mean, I'm the guy who's like, you put some weight on this dude and it'll happen. You could easily give him the Intercontinental, or you could easily, I was that guy. I had that high hopes for him. He has no confidence. He has lost foundational things. You're right. That sequence where he can't even fucking get over. He can't even flip over. Like that's day one pro wrestling school stuff. And to me, it's in your head at that point, right? When fundamentals like that slip from you, and you don't have that base and that support, that's a mental thing. Because at that point of a pro wrestler's career, a lot of that, and again, I'm talking like I am, but just in talking to athletes, right, professional athletes, it's muscle memory at that point, right? The foundational stuff. And when you lose that, it's mental. Your mind is fucking with you. And I really feel like that's where we are with this guy. And the only way you fix that is to step away from it. You don't fix that by doing more of it. You actually make it worse. Because it's not that he doesn't know how to do it. It's that his mind is not allowing him. His confidence is not allowing him. His psyche is not allowing him to do that. The things that when you don't have that mental barricade, it's just like flowing water. It's just a part of what you do. It's just natural. Nothing he does looks natural. From the minute he comes out of the curtain, nothing he does looks natural. Pause on him. Hit the fucking pause button before not only, he just, people like us rant and rave, but before he hurts himself or somebody, right? Because I think that's the territory we're going to be going into soon. If these things don't get rectified, it's okay to not have him on shows at this point. He needs to reset, and then you can say, okay, this gimmick obviously isn't for you. This gimmick obviously is something that is you're not comfortable in. What do we do with you? What are your ideas? What's going to make you comfortable? How do you find yourself? How do you become the young lion again? I think that's really that might be the key. How do we make you the young lion again? Because something happened and something's not right.
Tails the dude asked, when do we see Master Watto job to Tori-chan the rubber chicken, and Ignatius says, does Ibushi fear Mr. Watto? I mean, if they're wrestling together, I'm sure he does fear being dropped on his head or something equally unfortunate. Last thing I wanted to touch on about these two shows was a little young lion roundup. Louis says, does Yuya have a death wish? There was some really fun back and forth with him and Minoru Suzuki continuing their mini feud. I thought there was some great stuff between Gabe Kidd and Zack Sabre Jr. I would love to see a singles match between them sometime in the future. And Yota Tsuji currently sitting at 26,000 likes in his quest for 55,000 in his match request against Tetsuya Naito. So some good stuff from the Young Lions on these two shows.
They make it interesting. They're trying to do everything they can to be front and center. I like that. This whole Master Watto conversation got me concerned. You think about all the people that walk through the dojo, it's I say walk through. I mean, it's very difficult to get in, Joel. Then the struggles of when you're there and then making it to the main roster. It's a long journey and a very tough journey, and all the people who haven't made that. But the Master Wato talk has got me concerned. Like, oh my God, who's not going to make it to the next level? Because I like all these guys. I think all these guys have a certain something special, right? And I don't think that there's one guy that people are pointing at and being like, no. The way, like, to me, and again, they're in very basic minor roles. But is there a young lion that you wouldn't take over Master Wato right now?
There is a brand new young lion that I would take over Master Wato at this point, to be honest.
Yeah. yeah. I feel sorry for the young lions too, with all the COVID. A couple of them might have been on excursion right about now. It's a shame. Part of the allure of being a New Japan Pro Wrestling star is that idea of learning from different people all over the world, which I love. COVID-19. Go fuck your mother.
All right, well, that was the new beginning, and we are now on the road to Castle Attack, which begins this Sunday on Valentine's Day, February 14th. We have 4 consecutive shows at Korakuen Hall. Then we have shows in Iwate, Yamagata, Fukushima. I don't know which of those are televised. And then we are back for a double header at Korakuen Hall on the 22nd and then the 25th. There's not really much to talk about on those shows. I guess the biggest thing is that we have a new young lion called Yuto Nakashima, who is an ex-MMA guy. Digging around on the Sherdog website, you can find he was previously Yuto Nakajima, so Nakajima has become Nakashima. He has an 0-5 record in mixed martial arts, which will set him up quite nicely for his record as a young lion. Now, I don't know if his match is going to be televised. He's in a lot of opening singles matches against the other young lions, but I don't know if those matches will be televised because the New Japan World schedule says the shows are due to begin at 6, but it says these singles young lion matches with Yuto Nakashima are going to begin at 5:40. So it looks like those might be dark matches. I'm not really sure. I haven't got confirmation on that, but we'll wait and see. But this is the first Japanese young lion we've had since about 3 years ago when Uemura and Tsuji debuted. So it's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been. Wow, 3 years, has it? Seems like it was just yesterday. I don't know why they would do that, though. I mean, I'm sure that there will be cameras rolling because, you don't want to be the boob that says, nah, let's not tape this when the guy goes on and headlines 9 consecutive Tokyo Domes. Wait, we don't have his first match? Nah, we decided not to. Oh, okay. So I'm sure it'll be taped. That's weird, though, that they wouldn't do. Maybe they just giving the guy a break and saying, okay, listen, maybe you don't need the cameras on. Maybe you just get the basics down in front of a crowd first, and then we'll worry about TV. But I'm sure it'll be taped for sure. I bet it'll be aired. I can't. Can you? Why? I think it'll be aired. I'm going with it'll be aired.
And the only other notable thing from these Road 2 shows are on Thursday, February 25th at Korakuen Hall. The main event is an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match with Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo in their first defense against Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi. I think we might see a change of titles there. And does this match excite you, Damon?
No. And no. No and no. No, I don't know. It's got potential, right? Right? It could be good. It could be good, right? Could it? It could be good, right?
Could be. I think Bushi and Hiromu have got underrated chemistry as a tag team. Should be fun.
Okay. A lot of shenanigans. A lot of Bullet Club shenanigans.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of rope walking. You think there'll be some rope walking?
Rope walking, loaded boots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plenty.
I don't know. Anything else on TV that night?
Okay, well, let's discuss the Castle Attack cards themselves.
All right.
So we have 2 nights. So the first night will be Saturday, February 27th at Osaka-jo Hall. We are opening with 6-man tag Kojima, Tenzan, Tanahashi against Jeff Cobb, Will Ospreay, Great-O-Khan. So we are going back to that feud between Tenkoji and Empire.
Right.
But now we are throwing Tanahashi and Jeff Cobb into the mix. Second match is a special singles match between Yoshihashi and Tangaloa, which I like. Look at, I know, I like that we're saying ooh, where if we'd seen that match on paper 2 years ago or even a year ago, we would have been like, ugh. But I'm really excited to see Tangaloa in singles action, and we love Yoshihashi now, so I think that one could be really good. Third match, we got another special singles match, Hiroki Goto against Tama Tonga. Fourth match, we have a provisional KOPW 2021 match with Toru Yano against Chase Owens. Chase Owens has proposed a Texas strap match where you got to touch all 4 corners consecutively. We're waiting to see what Yano's proposal is. Fifth match, special singles match, Tomohiro Ishii versus Jay White. And sixth match, another special singles match, Kazuchika Okada versus Evil. Damon, your thoughts on that card?
Looking forward to seeing Jay and Ishii. I think that'll be good. I think the potential for Okada Evil is it can be good. Will it be good is a completely different story.
You'd have to hope, main event of Osaka-jo Hall. Well, actually, last time they were in the main event of Osaka-jo Hall, they shit the bed, didn't they? So
yep,
it can't be any worse than that, can it?
I mean, again, if you're writing it down on a piece of paper, it looks like they could, but stranger things have happened. Am I excited for the show? It does feel a little fresh, right? I like a lot of the undercard stuff, actually. And again, I am interested in seeing Jay and Ishii. I think that has the potential to be really good. I'm excited mildly. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't say that I'm ravenous, but yeah, it's piqued my interest. How about that?
Okay, let's compare it then to night 2, which is Sunday, February 28th, also in Osaka-jo Hall. First match is Tenkoji, Kojima and Tenzan against Jeff Cobb and Will Ospreay. Second match, Yano, Ishii, Okada versus Chase Owens, Jay White and Evil. Third match is the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match with Guerrilla's Destiny in their second defense against Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto. Fourth match, Never Openweight Championship match, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Great-O-Khan. Fifth match, IWGP Junior Heavyweight match, champion Hiromu Takahashi defending against El Phantasmo. And then main event is the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match only.
Oh, God.
Kota Ibushi defending against Tetsuya Naito. Now, that is in terms of, we've got 4 titles on the line here, a very stacked show.
Yeah. Can we talk about this for a second? Can we discuss what is happening here with the Intercontinental?
Yes, we have a lot of questions about that. Storm said, what do you think about Naito going for Intercontinental Championship? Rocco says, there's Taichi, ZSJ, Shingo, others that could have benefited by challenging or winning the IC title. Why do you think Naito is booked for this? And Booze Leprechaun said, is it too much to say that between the New Beginning quote-unquote feud with Honma and then challenging only for the IC, that maybe they're beginning the down cycle process on Naito? So what are your thoughts on the separation of the belts here?
Explain to me why, when at the end of this show, because I need a smart person. I need a person with a doctorate to help me understand why, when Naito walks down in only the way he can to the ring and decides that he's just going to challenge for the Intercontinental title, when, if he beats this guy, he would win the heavyweight championship. Help me understand the logic in that, Joel, please.
I think the logic is supposed to be that Naito doesn't want the belts to be merged, which is what Ibushi wanted to do.
He wanted it in the beginning. He wanted it in the beginning. It was his idea Double Dome was his idea.
No, he wanted to be double champion. He didn't want to merge them. He said all along that he wanted to be heavyweight champion and Intercontinental champion and defend the two titles separately. And it was like the titles being connected together wasn't his intention. So the storyline logic here is that Naito he doesn't want the belts merged, and his character development over the years is now he sees the value of the Intercontinental title and doesn't want to see it merged with heavyweight. So that's why he's going after just the Intercontinental title. He says he doesn't deserve to get a shot at both of them because Ibushi pinned him. I'm hand-waving all of that. But
pause, please pause, because I just want to make sure that this point doesn't get lost. So, again, he understands the value now of the Intercontinental title, a title that hasn't been defended on its own in over a year. Now he just wakes up and says, you know what? This Intercontinental title, this is the shit. We haven't seen an Intercontinental title defense in over a year. But now he wakes up one morning and says, that's the shit right there. That's what I'm going for. Okay?
Well, like I say, in his defense, he wanted to defend it separately, but he says that decision was taken out of his hands by New Japan management.
Okay. All right. Well, thank God we have a new ownership group. Or new,
I think at any rate, whatever they did to separate these belts, and we're assuming they are going to be separated. I mean, Naito might actually lose this one. I don't think it's a given that he wins. But whatever they did to separate these belts, if they are separating them indeed, was always going to be a bit messy. There was always going to be big logic holes there that made you think, what? Well, if they're doing this, why doesn't X person do Y? That was always going to happen. But honestly, I'm bored of talking about different ways that they could have done it. We've been having this discussion for over a year now, so I'm just ready to hold my nose and do what needs to be done to get the IC title back into the mix.
Okay, but we're in agreement that this is absolutely ludicrous. The Naito looks like a boob. The idea that he just woke up and now the Intercontinental title is this master prize, when he could beat the same person and be the heavyweight champion, right? Be the top of the mountain, which you would think all pro wrestlers, that's their goal. But no, he's going to hand wave that and be the secondary champion. Again, maybe he wants to be the best Intercontinental champion. Okay, but we're all in agreement that this is harebrained. And again, we knew eventually we would get there. This is nuts. Am I right?
Yeah, I've got no energy or enthusiasm to unpick this one, I'm afraid.
That's fine. I'll fucking be that guy then. It stinks. Thank you.
Mark says, assuming he wins, what would it take to define the Intercontinental title as Naito's rather than Shinsuke Nakamura's? Like, what 3 or 4 matches or moments would it need? Is it even possible without facing Nakamura himself? So do you think this is the direction? Do you think they want to get Naito out there as the Intercontinental champion to, I don't know, boost these cards or ticket sales or whatever?
Can I ask a question? What's Shinsuke Nakamura's contract situation?
I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. I'm sure he's very happy whatever the fuck he's doing over there.
Do you think that this is do you think this might be? Because I think that person, whoever asked that question, is right. Shinsuke Nakamura is the person everyone thinks about when it comes to that Intercontinental title. And there's not a lot Naito's going to be able to do to change people's minds unless he defeats the person who everyone seems to have in their mind. Am I not right, Joel Abraham?
What about Wrestle Kingdom 16 Night 1 headlined by Tetsuya Naito versus Hiromu Takahashi for the Intercontinental title?
I like it. I like that. Again, I talked about the Intercontinental title being that belt. That belt should be in that position. And yes, Like the idea of double belt I hate it. I'm not a biggest fan of it. We all know that. And again, it would take a while for us to get over the fact that there was going to be some harebrained thing to get them separate. Okay, what you have proposed, I like. I'm into. I would dig that. So when we talked about Hiromu needing a good dance partner at the Dome where people would care, bing, 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 we have ourselves a winner.
And Chris says, assuming Naito wins the IC belt, does Hiromu challenge him for the anniversary show? And perhaps do they do Ibushi versus Tanahashi as well? Wouldn't be the first time they did IWGP Heavy versus Never Champ at the anniversary show. So, do you see any potential directions there for the anniversary show main event?
It's one of those things that people got gypped out of with COVID, that's for sure, when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, yeah, I mean...
I say keep them waiting. I say, let's just go with a chalk pick of the current champions. Let's do Ibushi versus Hiromu for the anniversary show and keep people waiting for that Naito-Hiromu match.
I think so. I think you're right. Because here's the thing. Sorry. Here's the thing. You know that's a money match, right? You already know people are clamoring just for that. Yeah, I say hold off. I definitely say hold off. But here's the thing with the idea of teases, it's a long way. It's a long way to January 4th and 5th. You got to tease a little tease, just to get people a little taste in their mouth. You can do that now. A nice, slow, year-long build. Now we're talking.
So just cycling back then to this card itself, where, like I said, we've got the tag titles, Never title, Junior title, and Intercontinental title all being defended at Osaka Joe Hall. That's a sexy card to me.
Sorry, eating my vitamins. It is. A lot of singles matches, a lot of titles. Might not be the people that we want in those positions, but I think it's a good show. On paper, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm more excited about this.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm more excited about this than I am than I was going into New Beginning. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say with Ibushi Naito main eventing Osaka Joe Hall, there's going to be some crazy shit going down with people's necks getting fucked up. So
yeah,
certainly got that to look forward to. Okay, well, I watched Strong, so you don't have to. There's an interesting young lion rivalry going on between DKC and Kevin Knight. It looks like they're trading wins, as DKC picked up the submission win this time. Bateman also picked up a win in an entertaining 8-man tag match, and the main event of Ray Horus versus TJP was better than most of the New Beginning matches, so I would recommend people go to check out that one. But that is all you're getting from me for Strong for this week.
Yeah, you're not a Rocky apologist. You're not just going to just bend over just because he tweets at us to talk more about Strong. You're not that kind of guy.
No, unless you start paying me, then I'm going to do shit. Okay, questions then. Discord. Bebler says, Dear Damon and Joel, do you have any idea if there will be little men, juniors, in the New Japan Cup, given it seems to be 32 men based on the schedule? Which person do you think has the best chance of pulling off the win? Thank you for the question, the Bebler. Now, I made a list, actually, to see what we're looking at for New Japan Cup. So I've got a list of, heavyweight wrestlers here. And some of these are a bit questionable. So Chase Owens, Dick Togo, maybe, Evil, Great Okan, Goto, Tanahashi, Tenzan, Jay White, Cobb, Okada, Suzuki, Sanada, Kojima, Shingo, Taichi, Tamatonga, Tangaloa, Naito, Makabe, Honma, Ishii, Yano, Ospreay, Yoshihashi, Nagata, Yujiro, Zack. So that's 27. Maybe Hinari and Bad Luck Fale. I don't know if they're in the country at the moment. That would be 29. And then if we throw all the young lions in there, Suji, Uemura, Kid, and the new guy, Nakashima, that gets us to 33. Cut Nakashima off there, we got 32. So at a stretch, you could have all of those guys in. But that seems... I think you would throw some juniors, some more established juniors in there before some of those names I mentioned, certainly before the young lions at least.
Yeah, I would hope so. It does make it more interesting when they do add that element. And it does give I want to say surprise wins, but it does give that element of surprise when a junior pins an established heavyweight. So I like that element. To me, that's more interesting than watching guys like Honma and Makabe and Tenzan, lose in the first round. So I'd rather see some interesting matchups in the New Japan Cup. I think they sprinkle them in. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Cabby Beef says, I watched the Sakuraba and Nakamura Wrestle Kingdom match that was on the front page of the network yesterday. I've also been going through some 2015-16 New Japan. I've been watching recent Noah. Can you think of another wrestler that has had such a stark divide in enjoyability based on whether or not they are trying? Sakuraba is either completely useless or fucking awesome, i.e. Keno and Nakamura matches. I couldn't stand him in New Japan a few years ago, and I'm starting to kind of love him. Am I just a weirdo, or do other people feel this way?
Nah, I'm right there with you. He was brought in because he was such a massive name and made a massive name for himself from his MMA career, and that Gracie fight that went on for, you timed it with a fucking calendar. And then there were, I wasn't there, but people that were there have told me that one of the loudest pops, or I guess most energy they have felt in the Tokyo Dome, was Sakuraba Suzuki match. Because it felt like it was this dream match that occurred, or it was about to occur in front of them, and that the fucking building was just electric. They were saying so. You add that to there's not a ton of Sakuraba stuff that you'd be like, okay, that the collection of great shit where you're blown away in a New Japan ring is not a lot, not a tremendous amount. But again, I think he was, he's a huge name and all that. But he had moments. But there's nothing that where you're going back and watching the best of Sakuraba in New Japan. I mean, you might get two or three matches at best.
Okay, Vase Collector, who has about 20 questions here. I'm going to do one of them, Vase Collector. You pump the brakes on the question, my friend. How do you think the promotion is seeing Hikuleo? Could he have the support and the skills to step into Farley's shoes, at least, or more? It's an interesting one. I think he's looked really good on Strong. I can see that he's improving. He's working hard on the weights and, fitting his body out to look more muscular so he can play that monster role. And, I think he's more than capable of doing it. He's certainly more mobile than Bad Luck Fale. Whether or not he can be that physically imposing, because he's certainly got the height, but whether or not he'll get the build remains to be seen. But I certainly think he has the talent there as a worker to play that role at least.
Yeah, and all that would really need to be done is, one or two angles where he gets over his monsterness. And, Fale kind of passing the torch with a hand salute, and away we go, right? Again, no one knows when Fale is going to hang it up, even if he is going to hang it up anytime soon. But I think having him be the understudy to Fale is the natural progression, and I think he'll be fine in that. I mean, it's not Fale really wasn't known for his outstanding pro wrestling matches, and he's had a couple, but he's been in there with some pretty talented fucking people helping that occur. But I mean, I think that's a I don't want to say an easy role, but that's a good role to be in, to be the understudy. Absolutely.
Gig Me Like a Butcher says, Dear Damon, when you finally finished the bar, what's the first song that you played as you drank that inaugural beer or other beverage? And question for Joel, once you're back in China with family, reunite with Scampi, and have some time alone, what game are you putting in the PlayStation? It's going to be Persona 5 for me, because I bought that before I left and haven't had time to play it yet. Damon, first song at the
first song played, box. I know exactly what it was. It was Stone Roses, I Am the Resurrection. And And I also know the first video game I played was NHL 94, and I lost 2-0 on 2 goals by Pat Verbeek on the Hartford Whalers. I will remember that forever. So yes, there you go. Stone Roses first song, NHL 94 first video game, first wrestling match that I put on. I think I put on like an old. No, what I put on, and I was just testing to make sure it worked. But I popped on. When Liger retired, they had a TV special where they aired 24 hours of Liger. And I popped that on because I know the quality of the video was really good, so I just wanted to see how it looked on the TV. Bop, 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 bop. So that was the first wrestling that was on as well, to answer that question that no one asked.
Andrew says, if the Big Show was in the G1, what match would you most be excited for? I would book the Big Show against the Small Show and have him against Sho Tanaka, even though Sho hasn't been in the G1. And then together they would average out to be a medium-sized show.
I can't top that. Excellent, move on.
Spannerhead said, recently watched the Stardom costume change battle royal where everyone dressed up as another roster member. Should New Japan do the same thing? I do like it when they do like the wackier stuff like Fantastic Mania, and I like the idea of them dressing up as each other. I think that will be a fun idea. So maybe if they can't do Fantastic Mania, do that. Just dress up as each other. Didn't
they do that before? Who did that before? Was Robbie Eagles and Will Ospreay, right? They dressed up as Sho and Yo. It was like around a Halloween show. I remember that. Look that up. They had the jackets and the hats, and they dressed up like Roppongi 3K. So yes, I would be okay with that one show, a little humorous thing. Like I would just want to see the wrestlers' reactions to somebody dressing as them. You know, a big battle royal. People in the ring. As they come and they see themselves and they're like, motherfucker, this is, that's what I would want. That would be the best. So yeah, I'm all in on that. Some nonsense show, special show. Do it. I'm in. Fine.
Steel O'Neill says, remember that Yano versus Tamatonga match in G128 that Uncle Harold got involved in? It's gone from New Japan World. So we're seeing the erasure of Harold May's presence in New Japan. Michael Craven, you're next. Although I don't think he's on
next
any
or
footage, is he?
Yeah, I don't think he is. I don't think he's on any recorded footage. Yeah, I'll hold off my my white box and sunken head joke later on.
Tim says, when is Tanahashi going to film My Dad Is Still a Heel Wrestler? We need a sequel. Look, Damon, you hasn't even watched the first one yet, and I really think you should. I think it's a fun film. Mally liked it. I think you and Cheryl sit down, you watch that together, you'll have a wonderful time.
I'm telling you flat out, I don't think I could get her to sit down and watch it, number one. Number two, I don't know. Look, I'm not a movie guy, and I don't know. It's probably great. Where can I find it? It's not on World, is it?
I don't think it's on World anymore. Excuse me as I barely stifle a yawn. We can get it to you. If you're serious about watching it, which you're not, we can get it to you.
Get it to me, and then we'll see what happens.
Last question then, also Bash. A question for Music Damon, has he heard the new British band called Dry Cleaning? They're on the cusp of doing big things here. And question for Joel, which next generation console are you getting? I'm not going to be getting one anytime soon because I have barely scratched the surface with the PS4. I've played like 5 games on the PlayStation 4, so I have got the whole back catalogue of that to get through. So I will not be dipping into my pocket for a PS5 anytime soon. Damon, have you heard of Dry Cleaning?
I have not, but I do need some. I got to need some shirts laundered.
All right, that's it. That's the end of the podcast. I'm hungry. redcircle.com/super-j-cast if you want to give us money. Discord link is in the show notes. At Cobra Kawaii and ProWrestlingTees.com/super-j-cast for our t-shirts. Thank you, Editor Dan, on Twitter at LousyHero219. Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, other shows. Fire Snake Review, iTunes, Twitter, at the Super J-Cast. Thanks. Bye.
And if If you want to grab a snack, grab a Farm Rich snack. Something about that song just makes me hungry. Well, any requests? Oh, how about some mozzarella sticks instead? Folks, it's time for me to grab a snack. Feel free to do the same. You can find Farm Rich in the freezer aisle or online. This next one goes out to all the cheese lovers out there.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.